One of the annoying things about Festool, if you know about Festool, is that they took the old, that even though they put the tabs in the new Systainers, as you know, so they stack on top of the old Systainers, they took the tabs off the new Systainer carts and they won't make the new ones anymore. So you have to buy, I don't know, you have to either look for Hitachi, no, maybe Makita and Hikoki still make them, but they don't have the clip for the new Systainers on it, too. So why does Festool does that? Because they want to trap you into buying their new stuff, And some, I don't see the point in the upgrade. They could have just, they could have, I think, very cheaply made them compatible with the old ones, but they chose not to, just to be the way they are. And I looked for an old one for a while on the secondhand market when I decided I want to get one. I just couldn't find one, not for a reasonable price, or somebody who would ship to me or whatever. So finally I found these on Etsy from this seller, OKOWOK 3DP, and he prints them. He doesn't sell the files, he prints them. He's in Poland, okay? I think it's Poland. And he ships them. The price is reasonable. I don't remember what it was. I he sold it $20 or so. I don't remember what it was shipped, but he charged me Polish VAT, which I don't know about. When I've bought stuff from like the UK and stuff before, I haven't had to pay the VAT because I'm in the States. But he charged it, so maybe that was incorrect for him to do that. But I don't know how Polish taxation works, so maybe he was correct to do that. But anyway, it wasn't a lot of money, so it was no big deal. Okay, so what's cool about these is that, unlike other things, they actually clip in, So there's some things that your Systainers just kind of sit on them or whatever, the aftermarket things that people are trying that aren't the actual latches. Because let's be honest, messing with the latches isn't the most fun thing. You can spray furniture lubricant. I have some around. Oh, you can spray this Armor All protectorant on the latches. That makes them work a little bit better. But if you know these things, you know that they're just knuckle busters. I mean, the new ones are vastly preferable. But what are you going to do with the old ones? What are you going to do? So I'm gonna. It's not aesthetically great. I mean, they're 3D printed. He does a decent enough job. But the thing is, these just slide. Can you see these? It just slides. All right. So it can kind of go wonky, but it'll hold it down. It holds it down so it moves around. And if it bothers you, that goes wonky, because it's here. I'll take it off and show it to you. All right. So you just slide this back. So it's not, but you can get these, and they're pretty cheap to put together. I just use some. I think it's difficult right now because I'm up on a bench. And it's kind of heavy. So if you see these, they slide in and out, but because it's what he used circular posts for these, so they go back and forth, which it allows him some range of adjustment, but it also means that maybe they're more prone to kind of wiggling loose. If that bothers you, I just see that happen. It's kind of annoying, but so it's not a perfect design. If he used square posts, that might have been better. That would have been smarter, or more rectangular posts, but he didn't think about it that way, so that would be an improvement he could make. But other than that, they're pretty cool. And screws, these damn things are metric. And I had these weird little screws that I've had for years that had these tiny little heads, and that's what I had. But he used metric, and even then I had to drill out the shafts in these a little bit larger for my screws to work. And I clipped off the ends with a bolt cutter so they didn't go all the way through this junky plywood that I had some, this is pre-finished maple, and it got water damaged. I had some sheets that got water damaged. So what I did was I broke it down, I cut out anything that was remotely usable and kept that and threw the rest away. So this is a piece of that scrap, and it was about the same size. If I was cutting a bigger piece, I might have made it a bit wider. As it is, I didn't have much to work with. But what I did, I made it deeper. This is the same depth as the new Systainer carts, so I made it that for stability. So hopefully, it's 15.5 inches deep by about 18 inches wide. So that's about what I did. But you might want to make it wider if you made it maybe the width of the new Systainer carts. Just it would give you more stability. Okay, and you got to figure out these screws. Clip off the ends or whatever you have. You got to figure that out. And these, I just put them on the corners. And what I had is these brass screws that were my grandfather's. I have a whole bunch of these, and I can't remember I have ever used these. And I have tons of hardware that was his that he got from wherever he got it. And so I even use washers on top of these. So I just put these in with 2, went in pretty quick. They don't go through the plywood. That's the important thing, right? Because if you think this through, if you don't have short enough screws to bite into the plywood, right, you're gonna have to deal with like carriage bolt heads sticking up. You know, what are you going to do with that? That's going to be a problem for your fittings and for your thing to sit on top of it. So, you know, in this case, that's something to think about. Or if you need to use carriage bolts, you need to make the plywood bigger so it's not causing an interference problem. So just try to think that through. These don't have lockers. These are only 3 inches. It's the one I had, but they're fine. You know, I never lock these roll boards anyway. I have, let's see, I have 2 Bosch. No, I have 3 Bosch roll boards and 1 Festool roll board. So, you know, I got roll boards. I'm liking this. I like having everything on wheels in this shop because it makes these 400 square feet, 440 square feet far more flexible for me to have everything so I can move it around quickly. And that's what I suggest because I have a lot of stuff in here. So, you know, and I'm getting to the stage where I pretty much have the tools together, you know, and now I'm thinking more in terms of like, I was always thinking about flexibility, but storage and stuff like that. So I'm kind of reworking all this storage and so on. I used to have, I don't know. I'll talk about it later in another video. But that's my suggestion. And if it's from the seller on Etsy. It's a good product. I really think it's worth taking a look at. And if you are not in the United States, you can buy these even cooler ones that I like from this seller on Etsy, called Viat Tools, but he doesn't ship to the United States. He's in the Netherlands and he won't ship here for some reason. And he makes an even cooler solution that I really like the look of that I think you should check out if he will sell to you. So that is something worth trying out. Thanks for watching.